Hello, my Chunsters. My name is Glen Chun, and it's time to have some fun with Wrestlecast episode 1, 2, 3. 3 is a very important number when it comes to pro wrestlers. For you see, most wrestling matches will end with a 3 count, which signifies, if you're on the correct side of it, that you've won. And now for an episode 3, you have to go out and you have to find a guest who embodies winning. And I have found the living embodiment of what it means to win, for he is one half of the current PWA Tag Team Champions, and on top of that, he's called the winner, PJ Jones!
Winner!
He is here. That's the way to introduce yourself, for sure.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, guys, you'll have to bear with us. Me and PJ Jones, we've been in a bit of a internet war to find out who has the slowest internet. And what this means, long and short, is there's a tiny bit of a delay before we get our messages. But the cool thing is, we also don't have video for PJ Jones. Well, we do, but he doesn't want you to see him because he's looking he's not having a pretty hair day.
No, not at all. Not good.
Me, I don't really care. This is just how my hair works. It's styled by nature. So yeah, we do have a packed episode for you today. We have plugs aplenty. Oh yes, plugs aplenty. There will be plugs, as you can tell. This is kind of the whole deal with the show. We also have an interview with the winner. We also have reactions to the Royal Rumble 2016, and Shinsuke Nakamura will be debuting at TakeOver Dallas, which we'll briefly mention for anybody who wants to hear news about the WWE, which tends to happen because it's a wrestling podcast. But I'll tell you what, before we get started with any of that, let's get the important stuff out of the way. Let's chat to PJ Jones. And
okay, let's go.
The perfect question is, to start with, what was the point where you first became interested in professional wrestling?
First point I was interested, I suppose it came by quite accidental, really. I never saw anything to do with wrestling, and my cousin actually gave me a video that, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know who was on it. And she said, go and watch that, you'll enjoy it. Okay. I took it home, and it was WrestleMania 17.
Oh.
I never really, I never got into, I never saw anything before that, and that was the first real event I ever watched. And from your reaction, that was a good one. And since then, I was hooked. I used to stay up late and watch Raw when I could, and I tape all the events that you could. And since then, that was pretty much what hooked me.
Yeah, man. WrestleMania 17 was my first Mania.
Oh, cool.
The Rock versus Austin is my way. Yeah, that was awesome Mania. TLC 2.
Rest of the card. Exactly. I couldn't honestly pick a better way to kind of come into it. I know, obviously, the eras that went by, were all fantastic, but just at that time for me, I thought, wow, this is something special. I enjoy this.
Yeah, I get that exactly. I've told the story before, but just so you know, it's like for me, I was 10 or 11, and it was Sunday Night Heat was on actual Channel 4 television back then, and I saw Kane. It was Road Dogg was in a segment. He was doing his bit. The DO did a double G, suck it thing. And then all you see is the massive explosion on the entrance, and Kane walks out, and I'm just there as a 10-year-old, like, oh, that guy's awesome.
Yeah.
But
something special.
Yeah. And then from that point on, you get interested in professional wrestling, and then obviously you get started in professional wrestling. So how did that happen? How did you actually get into the business?
Quite a long story, really, but it started by me going to college and meeting a friend of mine who used to go to the FWA Academy, like weekend camps they used to do years ago. And that was the first person I'd ever met who had actually done anything, remotely to do with wrestling properly. And so he obviously did a bit of training, and then he used to get me and a couple of his other friends to go to our local dojo and just practice on mats and do like bumps and stuff. He taught us the basic ways, what he learned at the time, which wasn't a lot, but it was enough to kind of think, oh, okay, I know what's going on now. And then word got out that there was me and a couple of other guys doing that. And lo and behold, one day, Mr. Joel Redmond decided to just walk through the doors. And we're all there like, who's this guy? Just didn't have a clue about the British scene at that time. Just did not have a clue. It was all WWE, and that's all wrestling was at the time. And he walked in all, stern faces. And we're like, can we help you? And he was like, oh, just came to watch. And by the by, we got talking on that, and he introduced us to a couple of guys down in South Devon. You may know the guy, Danny Walsh.
Oh, I know him very well.
Yeah, we used to go down there. A couple of us used to go down because Dan obviously has a ring, and we used to go down there to a Brixham every Sunday and get a little bit of in-ring training, which I'd never done before. That was my first real, time in a professional wrestling ring. And then one day Joel came back and said to us, so we had a group from North Devon, a group from South Devon. He's like, do you guys want to come together and make a school? And we did. In 2009, the DWA, Devon Wrestling Association, started. And then it went on from there, really. So where I am now.
To the winner and your main eventing, like CPW, and like pretty much all the local shows, you are really up there with the apex.
Well,
yeah.
But there's plenty of other guys out there, that are better than me. But thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, the shows I've been to, you've always been like top billed on the card, and I know what you mean though by that first time in the actual wrestling ring. The first time you get into that ring, Christ, that's an experience you never forget.
It really is, yes, it really is, and I can vividly remember the first time when we started DWA, and because my trainers were Joel Redmond and the UK Tom, and the first proper session we ever did with them, and I don't think I walked properly for the next several weeks. Not in a wrong way, but just the drills and everything we did. It was just wow. That's an introduction into professional wrestling, and it was painful.
Yeah, it's just I remember. Yeah, I just remember the first thing that happened. I just remember doing the cardio. I did the cardio, man, and I needed like I was there with Jason King, and he was beside me. He was cheering me on through this thing because I just had to lie there in between each sit up. I had to take like 5 breaths in between each of them. I was like,
Yeah.
That's just
been there, done that.
yeah. That's the bit that sucks, is that first hurdle. But and then another question I like to ask guys, like to help build like a profile of the character who we have here, because everybody always answers this question a little bit differently. Who would be your dream opponent to work with, past or present?
Is that just any wrestler in the world, or like UK scene, or?
You can have absolutely anyone.
Well, that's a hard one.
Yes, it is.
It would be a toss up between 2 people, and they are obviously like main ex-WWE wrestlers. But Shawn Michaels for me was a fantastic performer. Probably still could be to this day if he hadn't retired, but he was just everything I liked about it. And he was a small guy. He wasn't the usual big 6'6" monster, but he could tell a story, and Shawn was fantastic. It would be a toss up between him and The Rock, because The Rock's The Rock.
The Rock.
I know it wouldn't be like technically, the best wrestling match in the world, but it's just what he brings to the table. He's The Rock, it's fantastic. I think.
Yeah. temporarily lost sound there. But the point you were making is about The Rock and how he won't trade wrist locks for you all day, like I say, maybe a Bret Hart would. But my God, if you want entertainment, if you want spectacle, The Rock is the guy to go to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Electrifying would be the word, I suppose.
Yes. Now, so now we've got those like general nicey questions out of the way. There was a question I wanted to ask you. Like, it's quite specific to you, actually, because when I saw you for the first time, one thing that struck me and one thing that really stuck in my mind after seeing you perform was you were one of the guys I really remembered from the show because of the whole, you'd hit like an offensive move, just almost any move, and then raise your arms, winner. And that just stuck in my head, man. I got to tell you, Marcus told me, he goes, I both love and hate that guy because I'm now shouting winner everywhere I go. I was like, I get the same thing. What I want to know really is, like, how did the idea to do that come along? Because I got to admit, it's awesome. Oh, God, if we lost him again. I think technical issues might have just surfaced there. I did tell you we do have a bad internet.
I'll try and rectify this. Hang on.
Okay. Right, so, ladies and gentlemen, this is the great thing about live broadcast. Everything that ever happens was completely 100% planned. There is no way anything can not go according to plan.
Can you hear me?
I can now, yes. Yeah.
Okay, I'll stay here. So what were we saying about now? I can't remember.
I was asking about how the whole inspiration for the winner came along, because I mean I was talking about how you hit every single move. It's winner.
Okay, well, like I was trying to say, I was slightly influenced by a couple of other people because there was a tag team several years ago called the Cartel, Terry Frazier and Shah Samuels, and they used to do the whole kind of winners losers thing when they'd hit an offense. You know, they'd be like winners and they'd call it like losers. I like that, but the way I came about doing it is because naturally I'm a very competitive person. You know, I like to win anything. I'm the sorest loser when I lose. It could be the most ridiculous of things, but I'd always want to win. And I used to do it, you know, before I even thought about using that as a character. I would just beat somebody and go, winner, you know. And that's pretty much how it came about to me. But I had influence from other people, and other people I know around the UK have used it as well. But I think I slightly take it a bit too far. Me, I don't really know, but
that's what was awesome about it, man. That's what I loved about it, because that's why it stuck in my head. It's just almost every move. And the thing it was, I think for me, was it kind of reminded me of exactly the same reason like Austin Watt got over and Daniel Bryan's Yes, because it's most recently Ty Dillinger's 10. It's like a thing that it's like one word that you can repeat and it just becomes synonymous with you.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm glad it has that effect on people, and I never really thought it would, but you know, it was just something I did just as a try, and it's got somewhere to a degree.
Yeah, that's definitely that's one way to say it. It's definitely firmly lodged in here. In fact, that was the thing that actually stuck with me from my first day at training. Finally got through the warm up, and literally everybody just goes, winner! I was like,
oh, that's quite nice. I'm glad I'm being useful for something, you know, encouragement, great, that's nice.
Yeah, you are probably one of the most quoted wrestlers I can think of right now. And the other thing I wanted to ask you is, I mentioned in your build-up that you are one half of the PWA Tag Team Champions. Now, the other half of that equation is the man who trained you, the UK Dominator. And I must wonder, that must be a hell of an opportunity to be teaming with a guy like Dom, because you just must get such a rub of experience from him.
Yeah, Dom's a great guy. Like he helped me out a lot in the early days with my character, really, because when I started out, I was just a shy person. I still am quite shy, but he brought out the inner winner, should I say? Then he brought out that character in me, and it's something I will always be thankful to Dom for. And now, say, to get the chance to actually tag with him, we do bounce off each other really well. We've got a very good personality mixture there between us, and it is always good fun tagging up with Dom. And we always get the wins, which helps.
Well, you say you're a really competitive person, so yeah, that does help.
Yep. Don't like losing.
I am the same way. I get it completely. I used to get it over the most ridiculous of things. Although it was mostly when I felt it was my fault and I had something in the bag. But yeah, because from where I sit, it's like I see Dom on the pinfall documentary. That was a whole documentary with what was his name? Adam Pacitti. That was it. He tried to learn how to wrestle in a month and then went into a rumble. And Dominator was the head trainer on that. And the thing that becomes apparent immediately obvious is just the man's wealth of knowledge for this business. It's incredible.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's been doing it a long time. And he's probably forgotten most of the stuff he's, learned over the time for all of what he's done. But, he does have a fantastic knowledge for the business. And it was great alongside Joel. You couldn't pick a better two people, I don't think, to train you to start off, in this weird world that is professional wrestling.
Yeah, that's quite. I mean, that's like you say. I suppose Dom has probably forgotten what most people have ever learnt.
Yeah. Because he's really, he's just old. He should wind down now, but you can't stop him.
I'll tell you what, if you tried to stop Dominator Wrestling, I have a funny feeling you would soon be telling people about that story from a hospital bed.
I've been trying for 5 years, but it hasn't gotten anywhere yet.
Well, the other thing that I wanted to ask you about, it's upcoming. This is an upcoming match. It's going to be happening on the 13th of April at Penrith Academy in St. Austell for CPW, New Year's, I think, Revolution. And you're going to be involved in a 2 out of 3 falls match with El Ligero. This is all advertised on the Facebook page. I suppose the thing I want to know is, how the hell do you prepare for that? Because El Ligero is just one of those guys whose fitness is so incredible. He could probably run 60 marathons as a warm-up.
He certainly could. First thing, though, Glenn, I will correct you there, because I do believe the show is on the 13th of February.
13th of February, that's I'm getting confused with something else in my head there, I think.
Okay. Don't confuse me, otherwise I won't turn up on the day. So yeah, 30th of February, you are right, down in Cornwall. Preparing for El Ligero, I've fought El Ligero 2 previous times before, so I'm going into this match knowing what I'm going to expect. Like you say, he is a machine. He's a pure professional wrestler in the fact that around the UK that he's wrestling every weekend all through the week. So I've just got to go in there and almost not try and claim at what he's strong at. Play what I'm strong at. Yeah, he's got the fitness side of things, but I'm a little bit bigger than him. I can always overpower him. He might have a bit of speed. Yeah, fair enough. But if I stop him in his tracks, it'll be a good contest. If I'm honest, El Ligero is an opponent I do enjoy having matches with. So either which way, it's going to be a hard fought that fight. But the result is only going to go one way. I will be the winner.
Is that deserving of the big signature?
You want a proper one, do you? Okay. Winner!
Yes, we got the soundbite. That's what you got to do. You got to podcast and sound bites for the people. Yeah, and now we're talking about that show. Now we are talking about that show. I have previous notes from TNT because. Are you ready? This is the plug side. This is the plug-in side. Smooth transition there. A question into a plug. I'm so good because as well as El Ligero versus the winner, PJ Jones, you will get Lizzie Styles versus Nixon Newell. Dancing, Danny Bainsley will be in action. He's a CPW champion at the moment. You have the pretty boy, Danny Walsh, who is my trainer. Marvelous Mark Walsh will also be in action. You also have the UK Dominator, Liam Lazarus. Josh Knott are also advertised. And I believe, because I have heard it through the grapevine, because I am, I'm well connected. Let's just put it that way. You don't do a wrestling podcast without having certain connections. I've also heard a rumor that Jason King, the man who was on a show which through technical issues you cannot hear anymore, but Jason King will also be on the show, and that I'm just looking at that show now, and you're right, it's the 13th of February. Not whatever it was that I was getting confused with. I was getting confused with something else. Definitely 13th of February. That show is going to be happening. And also, we're talking about El Ligero. If you want to understand just how good El Ligero is, there is also going to be a training seminar with the man, a 3-hour, I believe it is, in-ring training seminar at the Penrith Academy earlier that day. And tickets are available through CPW's official Facebook page, where if there are any left, and if there are any, you want to snap them up, because I think it's about 50 quid. And for that, you get a 3-hour training seminar with El Ligero, and I believe the UK Dominator will be assisting in that seminar. So that's two great like wells of experience there that you can pull from. And on top of that, you also get tickets to the show. And if you want to splash out and if you want to splash out an extra 5 quid, you also get a meet and greet. So that is CPW, New Year Mayhem, and the El Ligero seminar at Penrith Academy, February the 13th. That's well plugged.
Well plugged. New Year's Revolution, though, isn't it called? I don't know, or Resolution.
Yeah. New Year's Revolution, I think it is, yeah, because there was New Year's Mayhem, and that was PWA. Right. I know the two names are so similar. It's just a one-word difference. I'm always getting nervous before I plug those two shows because I've got to remember which one was which.
Yeah.
Oh, you must have. I cannot tell you how stressed I get before I plug that show, just to make sure I get it right. But now let's just wind down from the plugging for a moment. Calm down. Okay, we're back to nice questions now, because we've done the hard hitting, we've done the in-depth. So this is always a nice question, because when I found out about this question, I went on an internet website looking for dream questions to ask pro wrestlers from fans. And this one would start with me because it's lovely. What is your favorite part about being a professional wrestler?
Well, first of all, I have to kind of probably confuse you a little bit here to say that I'm not actually a professional wrestler. There is a difference between a professional wrestler and, being part of professional wrestling, in my opinion. Like, it's not my job, so therefore I can call myself a professional wrestler. I just enjoy partaking in professional wrestling. Just to spin you out a little bit there. But to answer your question, Glenn, what I enjoy about it is, well, I don't really know, actually. I suppose it's just being out there, and actually just entertaining people, to that level. It's good fun to see people's reactions to what you do, and how you do things. And if you can just change that person's, day, whether it be they're annoyed at you or, happy that they've come, the other guy won, etc. It's nice to know you've made an impact on someone's life. Like you say, you boys down the training, you end up shouting winner when you've completed a drill or whatever, a circuit, and that's changed something, and that's what I enjoy. I enjoy being able to make a difference to people in some manner. If that makes any sense. I really don't know.
No, it makes. I think that makes perfect sense, and it's very, very, very well worded, because it's like you say, the winner thing it catches on down at training at LEP. Like that's why I think a few of the guys were like, you got PJ Jones to go on the show? Like, how did you do that? It's like, because you've influenced them. And it's also, I get what you say about the audience as well, because I've had matches, and I had one a week ago with Adira, got the shit kicked out of me, quite literally, physical match. But the guys watching liked it. They liked it and they were into it. When I got whacked hard, they were into it, and I got a taste for that. It was awesome.
It is a great feeling, you know, when you go out there and, you know, people you've drawn people in, you know, in the simplest of manners, and, you know, you make them react, you know, to what you're doing. You know? That's my enjoyment out of it, you know. And I like the difference of worlds, you know, like day by day I'm quite, you know, subdued, calm person, but then I step out that curtain and you get a completely different version of me that everyone's like, huh, where'd that guy come from? No, it's nice to be able to like show your friends and family a completely different side of you, which they never ever see.
Yeah, that's I get that as well, because I think right, I won't be giving away anything about me personally, but because that's for another time. But here's another part. Now we've wound down, we cooled down a bit. Now we can go back to plugs. We can now go back to Plug City, bitches, because it's now time for me to ask about upcoming appearances. So, Mr. PJ Jones, where can the audience see you wrestle? And I also know for a fact, because you asked me before the show, you wanted time to plug DWA and the return of DWA. Take it away. This is Plug City.
I'll do my best. Well, the first, I suppose, is Cornwall. You know, in February down for Cornwall Pro Wrestling. That will be my next event, really. I haven't got many, you know, the start time of the year. But yeah, DWA, March the 5th, returning once again to the Heathcote Hall in Tiverton. You know, we've got cracking lineup of people, you know, on the card. We've got the likes of Joel Redman, you know, the founder. He's back, you know, defending his DWA Devon Trophy. We've got great talents like Charlie Garrett, who's, you know, a young up-and-comer, doing a hell of a job around the country and making a hell of a name for himself. We've got all your old favourites, UK Dominators there. Naturally, I'm there, winning and stuff like that. And maybe a few other surprises along the way from faces you may not have seen in the DWA for a while, but they will be making a grand return, shall we say. And also, whilst I'm talking about the DWA, I suppose I should mention that our training school will be making a grand reappearance as well, hopefully by March time, just in time for the show. But it should be based in Exeter. I can't give away much more now, but it'll be based in Exeter. So hopefully we can once again re-establish our school that was very well renowned for being a tough place to learn, but a great place to learn at the same time. And from that, I think my other appearances will be for Pro Evolution Wrestling up in Gloucester. I've got a few dates penciled in for them, and that's a great company up there and a great company to go to for training as well if you want to go and experience different schools, because as trainees that's a great thing to do, you know, to get out there and experience as many different schools and different opinions of wrestling as you can. So that's pretty much me at the moment. I think there's also one in Plymouth. I can't remember the dates, but he gave me a load and I can't remember when they are. Sorry, Martin. But yes, I know that some new ones for Plymouth in March, and I think there's one in February, but I honestly can't remember right now.
I'll tell you what. To save that segment, if you do want to find out all about the PWA and the upcoming shows, you can go and find them on the PWA, that's Plymouth Wrestling Association, on their Facebook page, and they will be posting all the updates about the latest shows, including, and this is always a bit of fun, polls as to who you think is going to actually win the matches.
Well, you already know the result of mine, so you don't really need to bother because, you know, it's quite obvious.
It's obvious. Okay. The winner of your match, is it going to be you?
So it's in the name. It's quite obvious.
It is in the name, I will admit.
I'm going to steal your little segment then and just say to everyone whilst I'm at it that you can also find the DWA on Facebook, you know, Devon Wrestling Association. Look it up. We're also on Twitter at officialdwa.com. Well, not .com, but, you know. So the more followers and likes and stuff we can get on the page would be brilliant. And all the news for upcoming events and training will be posted up there as soon as we know it.
I tell you what, it's really nice to have somebody else plugging something on the show. It's normally just me, and I just feel so shameless.
I've got to take this opportunity. I'll probably get told off for not doing it, so let's do it.
Exactly. Well, this is what the show's all about, man. It's about having a laugh. It's about getting to enjoy yourself and wind down and like let the fans know all about PJ Jones. It's also about getting the word out about stuff that's going on, because personally speaking, I think the Southwest wrestling scene is awesome, because went to Liverpool a few weeks ago to see 5-Star Wrestling Regenesis. Had a lot of big names on that show. They had AJ Styles, they had Rey Mysterio, they had John Morrison, PJ Black. They had so many guys, Jay Lethal, you name it.
Yeah.
The thing is, the show wasn't bad, but it was good, but it never quite got to that level I thought it was going to with those names on it.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like everybody was like quite within their limits, which I kind of get. They've just been wrestling two days previous. But in the Stars match, the biggest move saw was Kafka, I think it was. You didn't see that springboard versus DDT. You didn't see Stars Clash. You didn't see Lethal Injection in a Jay Lethal versus AJ Styles match. That's kind of what I'm getting at. It wasn't like wasn't a bad match, but it never quite got to that next level. So then 2 days later, I'm there at PWA New Year Mayhem, and it's a card without AJ Styles. It's not got Jay Lethal. All these people you'd expect to be awesome. It's got the local guys on there, and you guys basically just put on a much better show. I'm not even going to lie. The crowd was more into the PWA show. The wrestling was more awesome. And I was like, Southwest wrestling deserves more exposure, man. I was like,
well, it's getting that way down here. You know, like say, you compare what the wrestling scene was back when I started, you know, down here in Devon 7 years ago. It was a lot quieter, and there is more going on. You know, there definitely is more going on. It is, you know, it's creeping up there, but that's the same for all around the country. You know, British wrestling right now it's in a fantastic place from where it was. You know, it's on TV a bit more now, and it's slowly getting out there. And you know, there's no reason why British wrestling, you know, can't be at the level that it is in America to an extent. You know, it's just, you know, might take a bit of time, but I definitely think it's doable. You know, with what is going on around the country right now, all over the country. You know, it's fantastic, really.
yeah, you know, I feel like British wrestling is really on the cusp of something quite special. It feels like that. You feel it when you're there, when you're watching shows in England. You just get this sense that it won't be long, and particularly with WAW now actually having a TV pilot, it's like,
yes, it is.
This could be the spark that really gets British wrestling where it should be, and where I think it deserves to be.
Definitely.
I mean, even more so now that guys like me are getting involved. I mean, now is an exciting time to be following British wrestling.
It is. It's definitely a good time to be starting out, and you know, the plethora of people that are around, and the places to go, and places to experience, and the shows to go to. You know, it's a great time for British wrestling, and I only hope that it continues to skyrocket and reach, like you say, the place where it really should be.
Yeah, and I tell you what, to help British wrestling skyrocket, it needs to continuously have new talent coming in, new people attending the training schools around the country. And with that in mind, if there is anybody here listening to this podcast and wants to help be a part of making British wrestling bigger than American wrestling, what advice would you, the winner PJ Jones, give to a new starter who's watching this podcast?
Wow. Well, first of all, you know, a very important factor of being a wrestler, I say, might sound a bit hypocritical coming from me, but, you know, get in the gym. You know, a lot of guys will probably hear this now and laugh at me because I'm not the most in shape guy, but that is a big foundation that people need to get correct from the start. You know, I've made my own mistakes by not getting my ass in gear quicker. But if I had to say the first thing to anybody, it's just get in the gym, you know, work on your look, work on your body, because that's what's going to get you places and get you seen more ever than not. And as far as, you know, training and stuff, you've got to got to get out there to live through school. You have to get around. You know, it's not good just to sit there and twiddle your thumbs thinking, oh, it'll come to me. It won't. You know, if you want to get out there, you've got to get out there. You know, go to the likes of Pro Evolution Wrestling, go to IPW in London and Kent. You know, go up north to WAW. You know, get around. The more people that know you, you know, the better exposure you're going to get, and you're going to get. But that's my opinion. I know I probably don't heed to my own words, but if I could give advice to people, that's what it would be.
Oh, that is awesome, because that's the one thing that's, I must admit, I'm surprised that advice hasn't come out sooner, because we've bringing up quite the how to start wrestling 101 handbook now, because that is quite a big one. Because I must admit, when I first went to training down at LEP, I was I knew my cardio wasn't good. I just knew it. 2 years of not working out, except for the odd gym session and the odd playing tennis down the local club, it's not going to make you a machine. But I completely underestimated just how physically tough it was going to be. I really did. So
it is brutal. You know, it is brutal.
Yeah, you want to be heeding that advice. You really do. It's something I wish I had done, because it would have made my first day a lot better. Now, the good thing is, for anybody who, that is my interview sit-down session with the winner, PJ Jones. And now, I suppose the question, did you actually get to watch the Royal Rumble match for this year, 2016?
I actually did, you know. I don't get a chance to watch many events because I'm usually working stupid hours in the next day after a Sunday, but this time around I did get to watch it.
Right. So if we were to do our reactions to the Royal Rumble, this is something you'd know all about, because, it was, I must admit, this was a good one this year.
I think I know what you're trying to talk about, but yeah, carry on.
Yeah, I mean, Triple H returning and winning his 14th world title.
Oh,
admittedly,
fantastic.
did not see that one coming. I did not see that coming at all. I'm about to cough. Coughing's done.
Back in the room.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, no, I did not see that coming. Although I think the way they booked it, like at the very end of the match, once the dust was getting close to settling, I was like, maybe this is a bit obvious. When it's just Triple H and Dean left in ring, I was like,
Oh yeah, you always kind of knew where it was going, but I think it was great to see the fact that they actually took out Roman, you know, beforehand, and it was left with Triple H and Dean. You know, Dean's a fantastic, you know, performer, and kind of just gives him a little nudge up, you know, up the ranking, shall we say. You know, so it'd be interesting to see what they do with Dean now, definitely.
Yeah, I'm somebody who would place a lot of stock in Dean Ambrose, because he's got oh bloody hell. Yeah, don't worry about me. If I die on the podcast, don't worry, I died in a worthy cause, entertaining the people. Yeah, I put a lot of stock in Dean Ambrose. Personally, I enjoy watching him because I think he's good. He's definitely good on mic. He's got something there, and
he's good, which is nice. He's a lot of different. He is. He's fantastic. You know, I remember watching some of his early stuff years ago. It was John Moxley, and you just think that guy's something to that guy. He's just different. He's a different kettle of fish altogether. But I like they've kind of kept him like that because he stands out. You know, he's not a straight-laced wrestler, but he's entertaining to watch because you don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing that happened there in the Rumble, we had a massive spell of dominance from Brock Lesnar once again, but they cut that off quite interestingly. And it seems to be the rivalry that they're going to be building is the Wyatt family versus the Beast. Now, I'm personally, I'm a Bray Wyatt fan. I like the Bray Wyatt character. I think he's awesome on the mic, and having seen his entrance live, I can tell you that entrance is bloody awesome. And I am looking forward to seeing how they match up against Brock Lesnar, to be honest.
Yeah, it will be interesting. So Brock he's the Beast, isn't he? He just destroys everybody. But, you know, I think it'll be quite a competitive match. Obviously, it depends if the rest of the White family are, in the fray. But it will definitely be interesting. I'm looking forward to. If that happens at Mania, that'll be something I'll be looking forward to watching and seeing how it pans out.
Yeah, one thing I am looking forward to seeing is just that moment when all the Wyatt family are in the ring and they're bragging about what happened to Brock at Rumble, and then you just hear the music, dun dun, and he's there. He does that slow walk around the ringside, where it just looks like where he just looks like. At that moment, I must admit, as a viewer, I always just think, "Oh shit! Seriously, run! Just run, run for your life!" Because
shit's about to go down.
Yeah, you just know, somebody's about to get their ass German suplexed a lot. Yeah, and the other thing that really stuck out for me in the Royal Rumble, I mean, something which, I thought was absolutely. I've got the gloves somewhere. They're here somewhere. Oh yeah, they're there on the. Oops, can I get my finger up here? Where's my finger going? There they are on the table there. They are I've got the AJ Styles gloves, bought from him in person, signed. And if you want proof, there is a picture of me with AJ Styles on my Facebook page. It's a real thing. It happened. It creates quite a stir at shows when I wear them. I've got 3 different AJ Styles shirts. So I was always one of those people. I heard the stories and I was like, yeah, but it's just stories, isn't it? I work in a company in a supermarket where rumors run rampant every day, and pretty much 100% of the time they're wrong. So I was like, I'm waiting until I see it, and then of course the music started up, and it started I was like, I thought I've heard this before. I was thinking Reverend Devon when I heard that music. That's legitimately what I thought. I was like, this sounds like Reverend Devon, and then of course the camera was just on Roman Reigns, so you didn't hear what the crowd went nuts for. And then the next thing you know, it cuts to AJ Styles doing his pose. I was like, I marked out a bit. But when I say a bit, a lot.
A lot, exactly. Yeah, I think most people did to a degree because everyone heard it. They didn't really know it was going to happen. I didn't even hear much about it, and I was sat there with the rest of my friends, and it happened. We all went, "What? No!" It was like, yeah. Brilliant.
If I were to replicate my reaction to AJ Styles debuting in the Royal Rumble right now, you wouldn't be able to hear me for the rest of this day because for the next week, in fact, you'd have ringing in your ears. I went a bit nuts.
A little bit excited, really.
Yeah, just a little bit. I was like, "Oh, this is going to be awesome!" And then it was, of course. He had a hell of a week though. Beats Chris Jericho on Raw.
Yeah.
And we still haven't seen his full moveset. He's still only really done. At that point, he's still only done Pele's. That was my iPod's just falling off my computer. Are you okay? Nice. I think it's fine. Yeah, no screen cracks. That's fine. It's good. The only thing I'm worried about now is my phone. It looks like it's. Thankfully, it's not an iPhone, so it shouldn't break at the first sign of gravity acting on it.
Yeah,
but yeah, but yeah, he hadn't shown us his full moveset, and then the next thing you know, SmackDown happens. It all comes out.
Yeah. I was a bit worried whether they, like everyone was talking about the Styles Clash, whether they let him, whether he would use it, whether it would be banned because of what's happened in the past and stuff. But it's nice to see that they can trust him with it, and everyone else on the roster. It's a good move. It's AJ Styles. It's what he's known for. So it's nice to see that he is using it.
Yeah, I must admit, when I saw it's like his debut. It's more like his debut week, really, because they teased the character. They teased the character of AJ Styles, and they gave you a little bit more. What is he going to do? And then he unleashed a full arsenal of moves, and I was like, this has been a really good way to debut. This has been a really good debut week, slowly bringing him out. I was like, this is quite clever.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they really do with him, though, because Has he done any promos yet? Has he actually, had any TV time apart from matches? I don't know.
At this point, I'm trying to think, actually. I think there might have been something on the Raw pre-show, but other than that, I don't know.
Okay.
But
so
the
it'd
other...
be interesting how they actually, put them across to the general public, obviously, because WWE is a lot different to, what he's done on TNA and stuff. A lot of people don't know him. So they need to kind of make him interesting to a degree. Obviously, there might be a lot of people that know him from the indies there and stuff, but the general audience is, people they would never have heard of AJ, really, apart from the odd minority. So it'd be interesting to see how they bring him across to the people as far as character, rather than just letting him go in there and perform. Because obviously he is a phenomenal performer, as we all know. So it'd be good to see what they do with him, and it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I must admit, in a time where they've got so many guys injured as well, and they're quite thin on the ground talent-wise, I think bringing in AJ Styles is a very smart move. But they haven't just stopped there, of course. It's now also been confirmed that Shinsuke Nakamura will be debuting at NXT TakeOver Dallas.
Okay.
And this is bad news for Ring of Honor fans, okay? Because Ring of Honor fans, they bought tickets to the 14th anniversary show in Las Vegas. All of a sudden, they're not going to see Shinsuke Nakamura anymore, which is, I guess, sucks for them. But NXT TakeOver Dallas, you will be seeing Shinsuke Nakamura in a WWE ring. I'll tell you what, that is going to be even weirder because he is one of those guys when you think of New Japan Pro Wrestling, it's just his name is like instant pops into my head.
All right. If I'm honest, I don't know a lot of Japanese wrestling. I don't watch a lot, but I've heard he's a big deal. He's a big deal. So yeah, again, it'll be interesting to see what they do with him. It's like when Kenta came in, he made an impact to a degree, but I know he's injured now. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with this guy.
Now there is one sort of big difference, I think, between Nakamura and like other Japanese wrestlers that have come over. For most of them, they have to learn the language when they come over. They'll understand a few bits, but Nakamura has a pretty good understanding of English before he's come over, so that could help him get over in a big way because he has charisma. I mean, if you watch the guy, he is probably one of the more charismatic Japanese wrestlers I think I've ever seen. And there's the fact that he actually understands English. I think he actually stands a pretty good chance of really getting somewhere in that WWE crowd. He's quite big as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So if he's got a better understanding of English and stuff, I'll definitely help him. Of course I will. Yeah, but time will tell, I guess.
Yeah, this is all conjecture at the moment, but it's quite fun conjecture. So the WWE, they've got some interesting things going forward. Actually, they've got what's going to happen with AJ Styles. Even though they've got quite a lot of guys injured, they now have the real opportunity to bring in some new guys, push forward some new guys, and actually try them out in a bit of a spotlight. Which I'm looking forward to seeing if they actually take that advantage, take opportunity to do that. They've got AJ Styles, they've got Triple H as champion. The obvious Roman Reigns revenge story is going to be happening. There's Shinsuke Nakamura coming into NXT TakeOver. There's intrigue going on with the WWE. So if you're a casual wrestling fan, you like the WWE, I think you're in for some fun times until April. I think it is when WrestleMania actually is. You're in. What is it? The end of March. One of those two. Anyway, you're in for a fun ride, I think.
Speaking of the Rumble, though, Glenn, you didn't mention what was probably the best moment of the Rumble.
Didn't I? Did I forget something?
How could you forget Ron the Truth Killings? That was quite far the best part.
I'll tell you what they're doing with R-Truth. Oh boy, I just love that. Yeah, you're right. Actually, I'm surprised I forgot about that. How did I forget about that?
Brilliant.
That's the most unique Rumble entrant ever. He runs out grabs a ladder, sets it up, climbs up. He's like, "Where's the belt?"
It was brilliant. It was fantastic. It was. I was in absolute tears at that moment, and I honestly probably couldn't care about the rest of the Rumble after that because I was like, "I'm done. That was great." That guy won.
I'll tell you what, as well. Yeah, that was the winning segment on that front. But I'll tell you what, this whole thing that they've done with R-Truth has been quite funny. I think the funniest one was the one, I think it's before Money in the Bank. And he comes out, yeah, they're all there. They came, corporate canes, like, held a conference. Everybody's going to say their piece about what they're going to do in Money in the Bank. Yay! You know, the whole hype, this traditional hype angle. And all of a sudden, R-Truth just comes out onto stage and goes, when I climb the ladder, I'm gonna take that. You know, he's doing the whole thing. And then Kane just goes, what are you doing? He's like, I was saying what I'm gonna do in Money in the Bank. You're not even in the match.
Yeah.
Aren't I? No. Oh,
yeah.
My bad. Sorry. I was just like, oh my God. I didn't even know for a second there. I wondered if that was actually not supposed to happen.
You don't know with Truth, I don't think. I don't think he even knows.
I think it's getting to that point where I'm starting to wonder: did they just make a script, or do they just write that segment of TV? R-Truth does something. Maybe.
Pretty special if it is like that, because he's come up with some great ones.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I imagine they must write some guys like that, because I imagine the New Day must be a similar thing, because the New Day must be there getting that kind of treatment.
No, you don't know these days, really. I think, you know, it's a lot better when people like that can have, you know, freedom on the mic, you know, and it feels more organic then. What I've seen of the New Day, it does look very organic, like it isn't scripted. You know, some people don't need to be told what to say. You know, so theirs seems to be, right, go out there, boys, have fun. You know, is what you've got to hit on, and then go out there and do what you want to do. Because to me, it just seems very organic what they do. I'm probably wrong. You know, what do I know?
Potentially. I mean, we're not backstage there. We can't say for sure, but I think it's fair to say that, generally speaking, if you just give a guy some bullet points, like, here's what we want you to hit on. This is what's happening in the storyline. We want you to set this up. Go out there and do that. I mean, the best promos happen that way. Like CM Punk, Pipe Bomb promo. Oh, hang on. We've got video. I saw video for a second.
I moved my camera. I don't know why. Well, I moved my case in the back, but it's staying black.
Oh, okay, we're keeping it on the dark side.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. Because I've been thinking, like, obviously I've got in my head now. I'm 2 months down into training, and I'm like, it's gotten to the point now where I don't sleep properly at night because I'm in my head dreaming up promos. I'm like, well, what if I were to get something announced one-on-one with PJ Jones in November? What promo am I gonna cut for that? It's like, what if I had to wrestle Jason King? What would I cut then? You know. And the thing is,
think about that.
Yeah, it never stops. I've been thinking about how am I going to make my entrance, and the thing is, as well, I don't think I would like having that sort of freedom to dream, put my concepts taken away from me. So,
definitely, some of the best things I think in wrestling do come organically. You know, like they say, promos generally work with how you have bullet points. You know, touch on these subjects. You know, the rest is your kind of free will. And yeah, you could probably count several promos that do have the organic side of it and spinning my words here, and are remembered for, you know, what they were, and they probably weren't scripted at all. Especially like CM Punk's one. You know, that was just him straight from the heart. Say what he wanted to say.
Yeah, it's like when PWA was happening as well, the recent show, there was TNT versus the Elite, and that rivalry had been built up like over the course of a week. like for those people who didn't, I mean, I was involved. I tried to do a podcast. I tried to do an actual in-ring interview with TNT, and then the Elite kind of attacked and messed that up. But that thing happened like so organically. Like just one day, they decided, yeah, let's film an angle for it. So you had TNT kidnap the Elite, strand them on Dartmoor, and then it's just the whole thing just sort of developed from there. I was like, this is awesome. I mean, I might have to link people to like if I can find it, I'll try and link people to that whole promo. You'll see what I mean. The whole thing, the way it came about, is beautiful. I think we are getting close to the hour now for this podcast, and we must now take the highway back to Plug City, because it's Plug City time.
Backstage noise, sorry.
Yes. Because we're pretty much at the end of this. We talked about more than I thought we were going to, actually, which is, I love that about live. That's why you've got to go live, because you just get cool impromptu banter when that happens. But we've got schools to plug. We've PJ Jones told you about DWA earlier. That's starting back up in March, and you're going to want to be a part of that if you can be, because that is going to be cool. I think I'm going to be backstage I think I'm going to be there to help with setting up and everything for March 5. So I think I'll be there at that show. So if you want to meet me, I will be at that. But for the schools, you have the CPW boot camps. Now these are happening every fortnight in Cornwall. The next one is going to be February the 6th, and that I think is being helmed by John Harding. And then of course you have the special one in February the 13th with El Ligero and UK Dominator. That's not quite a normal boot camp. That's a proper pro wrestling seminar. But yeah, these sessions cost $25 per session, or I believe it's £220 for 6 months. Full details are all on the CPW website, which I will have linked in the description below.
Like Glen, speaking of the boot camps.
Yes, I believe I know what you're about to refer to. Go ahead.
I don't know if I'm really allowed to say or not, but I've been asked to take a couple boot camps at some point, so I'm sure the owners won't mind if I say that I'll be running a couple boot camps in April.
I'm sure they'll appreciate that, actually, because I must admit I looked at that and they announced it on their they announced it somewhere. I'm trying to think where it was now. But yes, they basically, PJ Jones is coming down to do a couple of seminars in April. So CPW boot camps
alongside Dancing Daddy Bainsley. So if you want to learn how to dance, come along.
And if you want to know how to win,
exactly.
that's going to be happening. I'll tell you what. As well as that, if Cornwall is just a bit too far out of your reach, we also have the Plymouth Wrestling Academy, which is moving to a brand new facility at the Elite Fitness, and that's going to be held every Sunday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., £10 a session, or wow, that was a bit Paul Heyman-like, or £35 a month, and that will be with your head teacher and trainer, the Rocker, John Harding, a man with 16 years experience. I've done a boot camp with John training. In terms of experience and contacts, there's not much this man can't teach you. There really isn't. And tell you what, if he can't teach it to you, it's probably not worth knowing. So yeah, PWA at Elite Fitness every Sunday, 9 to 11. That's another one worth going to. I wrote down DWA. PJ Jones, if you want to take that one away again, run them back through the details of it.
Well, there's no official date, I suppose, for DWA yet, but our training school will be opening soon, hopefully, end of February, March time. Any details, final details we get, we will put it on our Facebook page, Devon Wrestling Association, and our Twitter @officialdwa. So keep posted to those sites and whatnot, and news will be flooding out when we know it.
Yep, I will also have, and by the way, everything I reference, everything I talk about on the show that's happening locally, will also be a link in the description. If there isn't one there yet, try again tomorrow, because sometimes I get busy and I forget to do things. But there should be a link in the description for the DWA. And finally, one that's very close to my heart. I'm not wearing the shirt today because I'm changing it up. I've gone Randy Orton out of nowhere. But there's also LEP Wrestling Academy in Torquay, in Abbey Road. And they do training every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Tuesday and Thursday, the training times are 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So it's nice. It's after work for a lot of guys, I'm sure, which helps. And that'll be with your head trainer, the pretty boy Danny Walsh, and all the guys that go down there. You've got the guys who've been on my podcast. Recently departed from Norwich is Grayson Rees. He's not there anymore, but you still have guys like Jason King. You still have TNT, Maximo and Jack Union. I'll be there. Mark Walsh, he goes there. Yeah, there's so many guys down there at LEP. It's all in ring training. Sunday times, I can't remember off the top of my head because I was going to say a bad word there, but I caught myself at the last moment. But yeah, I'll tell you what, is that? No, for a minute there, I was hoping that was somebody who had the Sunday times on my Facebook chats. But yeah, that's all in ring, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Abbey Road in Torquay. That's £15 for a session, or get this, £30 for the month, and that gives you access to the Tuesday, to the Thursday, to the Sunday. That gives you access to 6 hours professional wrestling training a week for the entire month. All in ring. I mean, if that doesn't make sense to you and you want to start professional wrestling, I have no clue what will make sense to you, to be honest. I mean, yeah, that's my plugging for today.
Good go home there, Glenn. Good go home.
I know. I've just basically, if anybody's now like, this doesn't sound quite right to me, I've basically accidentally called them idiots.
Basically, look at your page, see the links, go to them, end of story.
Yeah, and you will learn how to get your ass kicked for a living. Yes. Just that's a cool thing. And there's only one last thing to do. It's still plugging. It's official homework. Because there are updates. There are updates from my side of things. If you want to find out about Wrestlecast and everything that's happening with Glen, Chun, you can find out all of that stuff at now. There's a Facebook like page, Glen Chun, the Facebook like page, where you will see announcements on all the new guests. It's where I announced that PJ Jones is going to be here today. I'm also on Twitter at Glen_Chun. So if you want to find out about Wrestlecast, all the news, the haps, that's where you go. Glen Chun the like page, or Glen_Chun on Twitter. PJ, where can they find you on the internet?
I do have a Facebook page. I don't use it very often, but you can find the winner, PJ Jones, on there. I do have Twitter at PJJones88. I believe my Twitter. I'm not the most, active social networking person, but I do try when I'm around. So if you do have any questions or anything like that you want to know or know where I'm going, I'll make more of an effort. You've heard it here first. I will make more of an effort.
I must admit, I'm trying so much harder now that I've actually got this podcast and I'm getting it off the ground. I am actually making more of an effort, so I continue to hype and build up appearances through that show. So that is everything. You had your interview and your chat with the winner. We talked about the Royal Rumble. We talked about many other things actually on besides, and we plugged a load of wrestling schools, links of which will be in the description. Links to DWA, their webpage, I'll be also in the description. Links to anything you need, including PJ Jones's Facebook and Twitter and mine as well. Everything you need to find whatever we've been talking about will be in the description, is what I'm trying to say. But for now, from myself, thank you very, very much for watching. There's been quite a few guys who have actually stuck with this all the way through. We've had quite a consistent number of viewers, which you'll be happy to know, PJ.
Marvelous.
Yeah. From myself, it's been a massive honour having you here, PJ Jones. It really has been a great pleasure.
Well, thank you for having me. I hope I've had some benefit to your show and to other people, and I haven't waffled on too much.
Absolutely. I tell you what, I think. Well, there's only one word to describe the show. Let's end it on the right. Let's end it the right way. Let's do it one more time.
Okay. Winner!
Oh yes.